Siddiqui, was chairman of the Department of English, colleagues of the Department of English, members of the Raleigh Literary Society, ladies and gentlemen. I am very grateful for the kind words that have been said about me. I am sure that after I have spoken, there will be a considerable depreciation in your estimation of my intelligence. What I propose to do is to examine really the relationship between the history of ideas and post-colonial or neo-colonial or postmodern theorization. As you are aware, there is a deep difference between history and literature. You might say that literature concentrates facts by certainly removing from its focus a number of actual phenomena that also demand attention, whereas a historian can't do that. A historian must deal with facts as they happen. Now, it is certainly arguable whether actually literature, by concentrating particular facts and omitting others, describes an epoch better or a situation better than a historian can do. For example, Tolstoy's War and Peace is highly regarded in literature and also by many historians as depicting the particular situation of the late Napoleonic Wars and Tsarist Russia as no amount of actual history writing would have done. Because in fact what Tolstoy does is he concentrates the actual factors by describing in detail battles and so forth, but he is here representing what was the most crucial, what were the most crucial phenomena of the time, and not which is an option not available to a historian because he must be comprehensive. Now, therefore, literature and history both perform important functions, but in different ways. And accordingly, therefore, I accepted the kind invitation on behalf of the Raleigh Literary Society to speak here. My main purpose being to discuss the fundamental conceptions which might have changed or have changed between, let us say, the post-liberation process of the post-World War II liberation process in the world of both history and literature, which, as I say, is most often called postmodernism, but also post-colonialism, and by critics like me as neo-colonialism. Now, as far as postmodernism concerned, it's I take it up because this would be a good starting point. Until the word was first used in 1949, that is post-World War II. Until the 1940s, it could be said that everywhere in the theoretical sphere, some form of positivism was involved. Not necessarily Comte's positivist philosophy, but also, let us say, Marxism, Keynesian economics, sociological theory, Weber and others. They all dealt under two or three major principles. Firstly, human beings react similarly under similar conditions. Secondly, any theory must be universal or worldwide, and therefore, though diversities would have to be located, those diversities must be studied with one particular framework, notably the modern values that have been accepted. For instance, equality between men and women, in the freedom of nations, liberty of speech, and so forth. What is known as, what was thought at that time, pre-Edward Said, as Orientalism, was the application of these scientific, what were supposed to be scientific methods to the East. That is to say, applying the same methods to the history, culture, religions, and literature of the East as had been applied already to the West. After all, you must remember that by 1940s, Christianity in the West had been put to much greater criticism than, say, Islam or Hinduism has ever been put to in the until present times. So, in a large sphere, the notions were secular. That is to say, religion does not determine the attitude of the Orientalist. Now, this particular point had been made by Ignatius Goldzheimer, who is practically regarded as the major figure in the reconstruction of Islamic history and scientific or objective lines. You will not find Goldzheimer mentioned in Edward Said's Orientalism, except at one place where he is wrongly described as a German. It speaks volumes of Edward Said's knowledge of Orientalism, that he does not know that the father of Orientalist studies in Islam and Arabic cultures was not a German, but a Hungarian Jew. Moreover, an anti-Zionist. He was punctilious in his Jewish ritual, but denounced the Jewish occupation or the plans for Jewish occupation of Palestine, and therefore he is condemned in his life. Now, Goldzheimer went to first study Islam and Arabic in his home country, Hungary, and then he went in 1870 to Al-Azhar and studied in Al-Azhar. And he says that when for admission he went to the Sheikh or the head of Al-Azhar, the Sheikh asked him, "Who are you?" He said, "I am a Magyar, Hungarian. Magyar is Magyar in Arabic." And he said, "What religion?" And he said, "I am a Jew." And the head said, "Alhamdulillah." So that he said meant that he was admitted. Now, so this was the nature of relationship, personal relationship between Goldzheimer and Al-Azhar and the Arab and Muslim ulama. Now, Goldzheimer says that I am a Jew, but when I write, I am neither a Jew, nor a Christian, nor a Muslim. These words mean nothing to me. I write what I consider to be right from totally objective views. So, Goldzheimer really reconstructed the Arabic history. You can see it in his Mohammedan studies, now translated as Muslim studies, how he is fair and accurate, and how deep is his knowledge of Arabic. Now, such reconstructions also began in India and earlier. And in India also modern methods were applied, and the whole of ancient Indian history was reconstructed by the application of scientific methods, archaeology, antiquity, epigraphy, all developed in Europe. Throughout Islamic history, there was nothing like epigraphy, no numismatics. The art tarikh was just analysis with some discussion of causation, but very rare. So, actually, it is Orientalism applying modern methods which have enabled us to reconstruct our own country's history. In 1800, we didn't know we had an emperor called Ashoka. It was when Princeps deciphered the Brahmi script that we discovered who Ashoka was and what wonderful things he said in his edicts. Nobody believed an Indian could have said in 250 BC. Now, therefore, Orientalism in history and also in all other fields, statistics, population counting, village surveys, poverty surveys, and all these things totally changed not only the European perception of India, but our own perception of our country. I have said in a current paper that when we speak of Mother India, we are simply transferring a West European or a European concept to India. Treating one's own country as a mother or father is totally European conception. So, our very nationalism had roots in modern ideas. And I hope that even if you are in English literature, you would read Jawaharlal Nehru's Glimpses of World History or even autobiography of his autobiography. You might be surprised that in Muslim League days of 1940s, Muslim Leaguers had this good thing. They didn't read anything, so they didn't throw away anything. They were not like RSS fans. So in VA, the text prescribed included Jawaharlal Nehru's Tomorrow in India. And we had to do that in examination. So, of course, I came post-47 into VA. 49, but my seniors told me that this text has been here for 10 or 15 years and nobody had touched it, and everybody had just studied Nehru's Tomorrow in India for examinations. So you can see that one of the builders of India had a mind totally dominated by Western ideas, saying that, Akbar, if he is described as an atheist, so I hope every Indian is an atheist in the sense that he believes in reason. This is there in Nehru's Glimpses of World History. Or the notion that belief in afterlife is only for people who don't have any intellect. So all these statements are important as showing that there was a feeling that there is a unity of ideas which joins Indians, Chinese, West Europeans, and so forth, a unity of principles. Now, what has happened after World War II, and that started not in the ideological sphere but in the sphere of art with postmodernism. Postmodernism was really used for new schools of architecture in which the previous idea of balanced buildings, what was on the right side should also be on the left side, that kind of notion was challenged and a new kind of architecture arose which was called postmodern. Now from this usage it spread to ideas. Postmodernism tended to reject the earlier notions of an identity, ideological identity all over the world. Whether you were a Marxist, whether you were a positivist, whether you were a Keynesian economist, whatever you believe, that whatever you said applies to the whole of the world, that was not challenged. In fact, has been regarded as postmodern challenges the unity of mankind, challenges the notion that all people should believe in identical values. The case was put forward in various ways. In India, for example, it was put forward first by Louis Dumas, a French sociologist, who wrote in 1968 his book Homo Hierarchicus, the hierarchical man, which was translated into English in 1970. The title being Homo Hierarchicus, the caste system and its implications. It preceded Edward Said by some 8 years. Edward Said's Orientalism came in 1978. Now what Dumas in fact said was that it is totally wrong to suppose that human beings in the West and the East have similar and can have similar values. That was the essential point. As far as India is concerned, and notably as far as Hinduism is concerned, its basic principle is not monotheism. It is not morality as you think of it, but a concept of purity and pollution. And then this argument, he had some trouble with history, because of course we know that India has a system, has a history of ideas which is extremely complex. You have monotheism, you have atheism, you have rationalism, you have spiritualism, you have every kind of ideas which are embraced in what later on came to be called the 16 darshanas. I'm not going into that, but, and that was what historians of philosophy in India, reasonable historians of philosophy, had already accepted throughout. But Louis Dumas argued that in fact India had no history because in Sanskrit writing there was nothing like history. He could have said there is no geography, but he didn't, because of course in Sanskrit there is no geography. You can look in vain for geography in Sanskrit literature. It all came from Greeks through Arabic and Persian. You know, Arabs could not also be credited with geography, but they got it from the Greeks. And then the Chinese had geography, but of course in Sanskrit literature you can look throughout Sanskrit literature, there is no geography of India or China or Iran as you would find in Persian. So if one goes by that, then India should have no geography. And then similarly he said that India had no economics. Well, the world had no economics before the 16th century, before the mercantilists created economic theory. So could we say that there could be no economic history in Europe before the 16th century? Or could we say, as I've said, that there is no geography? India had no geography at all. Its mountains and rivers did not exist because Indians didn't know geography, didn't have geography as a science. So it is this kind of argument by which Dumas dismisses the whole structure of modern knowledge. don't go into economic history, don't relate caste system with economic differentiation, with class exploitation, with despotism. I have argued in more than one place that the beneficiaries of the caste system were not really, if you look at ancient India or medieval India or early modern India, British, were not really the Brahmins, they were the ruling classes. And so, Delhi sultans or Mughal emperors never touched the caste system. And in fact, even in Muslim communities, caste began to originate, particularly between Kamins and the Sharif. The Kamins in Pakistan don't have any reservation because Islam is said to be egalitarian. But if a Kamin boy looks with a Sharif girl, then they are both killed. That's all. So it's in all our culture, this was present, but this was not because of any economic theory according to, or economic circumstances according to Duma, but because of the whole theory of pollution and purity. And therefore, in a sense, modern theories of economics and history could not apply in this. Now, I won't go further into Duma, I just presented as an illustration of how, when the older objectivity schools of objective schools were attacked, how varied was the attack. Edward Said's book, which for some reason has received much applause in literary circles, but not in history, for example, or economic history and so forth, or history of ideas, has therefore to be examined in this light. First of all, what is he saying? The trouble with Edward Said from the beginning is a kind of academic dishonesty which you don't expect. And I'll be very frank about it. This is not the dishonesty you expect. I'll begin with the flyleaf, the page after the title page. There's the first quotation is from Marx. They cannot represent themselves. They must be represented. Now you would think that Marx is here saying that Oriental people cannot depict themselves